And it's good to be back. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Toolbox Tuesday. I missed you. I am so happy to be back in the Pay Compass studio and ready to drop knowledge on you today so that you can kick ass and have a successful sales career. But first, we're going to kick it off with just a couple of quick announcements. So let's jump right into this because we got a lot of content that we have to cover today. Join us next week on Tuesday, February 17th. We're going to do Coffee with Closers at 1 p.m. Eastern. That's where our CEO, Justin Vollrath, gives you the State of the Union for the first 20 minutes. And then we open it up to you, the sales agent, and give you an opportunity to share what's on your mind and what's on your heart. Look forward to seeing you next week on Tuesday the 17th, 1 p.m. Eastern. We will do a Coffee with Closers session. And coming up at the very end of February, on February 24th at 1 p.m. Eastern, we're going to be hosting a Toolbox Tuesday. This one's going to be a little bit different. This one is called the Power of Partnerships. And what we're going to do is we're going to drop knowledge on you with some of our guest panelists in regards to how you can build successful partnerships so that it can help your residuals to flourish. We're going to have Jeremiah Remsky on the call. We're going to have Jeannie Reese on the call. You're not going to want to miss it. And you know what, sales agent? You've been doing this a long time. I'll bet you've got some knowledge as far as partnerships go. You know what? I want to see you on that call so you can share your knowledge with everybody. As always, if you do not see those invites on your calendar, oh my gosh, do not panic. Just reach out to us, sales@paycompass.com, and we'll make sure we get those invites on your calendar. This is Toolbox Tuesday. As always, we do record these sessions, and usually within 24 hours, our marketing team will get the recording posted on our company YouTube channel. But for those of you that say, hey, Scott, you know what? I'm not really good at watching videos. For the most part, I usually have to do double speed and everything else. Scott, can I use an AI note taker? To which my response to you is, heck yeah, go ahead and go for it. We realize that some people do better with reading a transcript rather than going back and watching a video. So if you've got an AI note taker, by all means, fire away, get that thing rocking and rolling, and get this set up for yourself. Whew, today is going to be a good set. We have been teasing this for so long, and today is finally the day where we're going to meet our friends from Bodega AI. But before we meet them, I have got to say hello to my co-host and a huge thank you to my co-host, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. John Marshall. John, where are you, brother? Let me hear you.
I'm right here, Scott. Thank you. And I want to point out, right, that the Genie app also has Bodega AI collateral in it. So if you're looking for a deeper dive, go no further than right up here.
Look at that. Ladies and gentlemen, Toolbox Tuesday is sponsored by John Marshall. John Marshall, when you're feeling a little bit down, pull up his app and you'll feel better. Remember the name, John Marshall. There we go. John, you're the official sponsor of Toolbox Tuesday. Nicely done. Perfect. All right. Let's talk about Bodega AI. Man, oh man, this is going to be such a great session. I got to hang out with these guys in Boston last week. And man, oh man, you guys are in for a treat. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's give some heavy metal love and throw those horns up to our special guests, Jason and Dave. Gentlemen, welcome to the call.
Thanks, Scott. So excited to be here, guys.
We are super excited to have you. Dave is with us too, correct? Dave, are you here, my friend?
I don't know if he's here. He's at another trade show, so
Okay.
he might be not here today.
Regardless, ladies and gentlemen, we have Jason from Bodega AI. Jason, thank you for joining us today, man. Let's dive right into this because, man, oh man, you've got a whole bunch of content that we need to cover today. First and foremost,
Yeah.
why don't we just kind of do like a little bit of an introduction right out of the gate? Have an understanding of who you are, Bodega AI. Where did this
Yep.
come from? Talk to our audience, Jason.
Great. Yeah. So I'm been a payments guy for the last 20 plus years, and my previous company was bringing point of sale to taxi cabs. So we brought 30,000 point of sales to taxi cabs across the country. One of the big excitements there that you'll like is we pioneered cash discount 20 years ago. So I went to all the cabs in Vegas and said, hey, do you want the fancy New York credit card system? They said yes. I said, do you want to pay for it? They said no. So we said, okay, here's the deal. We're going to give you all this equipment for free, but it'll be a cash discount and they'll put ads on the screen. And so guess what, guys? We got 2,000 cabs in Vegas, all on cash discount. They're still using the same system today. So today, what's exciting about AI POS is that there's a real jump ball here. And if you lock in your merchants today, as well as get new merchants, you'll be able to have them for a very long time.
And Jason, so for the most part, I mean, it's not like you just woke up one day and said, "Hey, you know what? This AI stuff seems really, really cool. Let me see if I can build a POS system around it." I mean, for the most
Yeah.
part, there has been a lot of passion and a lot of thought put into this. But even taking that one piece and setting it aside, as far as what you were doing with the taxi cab companies, um, you made a great point as far as being very forward thinking. So for the most part, as far as like technology is concerned,
Yeah.
like 10 years ago, even when I worked at a previous POS company, it was one of those things where the POS system was server based.
Right.
It was kind of like, oh, this whole thing with the cloud, that'll never catch on. Well, welcome to
It
2026.
did.
It caught on. So talk to us a little about why putting AI into a POS system. What was the rationale
Yeah.
behind that, Jason?
Yeah. So, guys, every 10 years, there's this inflection point. So, 10 years ago was EMV. 30 years ago is this the internet. And so every POS had to become internet enabled. 20 years ago was mobile. Mobile payments, as you know, kind of changed the game. 10 years ago was EMV. Every terminal had to get replaced. Today, it's the AI. Every POS, particularly in these verticals that we're talking about, will need to be swapped out for AI POS. And the reason why there isn't a Toast for the corner store or Square for the corner store is because of the data. And so what we've done, which we never could do before, is built the world's best database of everything in a convenience store, liquor store, tobacco store. So now all of a sudden the merchant doesn't have to type in 3,000 SKUs poorly. They can get all that data all with one scan and just start selling. And that unlock is critical not only to make the merchant's life easier, but also you can't use AI if the data is bad. And so what we've done is by standardizing the database, the AI will tell them. So we're the first POS that actually makes stores more money. It tells them what they should be selling, what price they should have, how they should merchandise it, what's taxable. And so no one really knows what AI POS is, but we're kind of leading the charge. And so a lot of these things that I think historically we never even thought were possible are possible. And so we really look to you guys to be part of our advisory board where you tell us kind of what you need. Like we had one merchant be like, well, why can't you do it in multiple languages? And I was like, oh, that's a good point. So now literally the POS is in every language. So all these things that used to be impossible, a lot of them aren't. So please work with us to kind of really define what it is. But AI POS is going to unlock about $1 trillion of spend. And so you guys have an opportunity to grab all those merchants. And so that's what we're excited to talk to you about today.
All right. Well, since we are talking about it, so for the most part, just so we can kind of set the stage in regards to who is the best fit, if you don't mind, Jason. So when our agents are thinking about Bodega AI, who should they be talking to? What is that target market? And then conversely, who should they not be talking to because it's not going to be a good fit? So let's talk about good fits first.
Yep. Yep. Anyone that has lots of SKUs is ripe. What does that mean? It's a convenience store, it's a liquor store, it's a tobacco store. All of those stores don't have a good POS. Also, they love cash discount, which is the whole side point. But so now with this AI POS, the best stores are those stores. Beauty supply, stationery store, meat markets, convenience store, liquor store, anyone that has lots of UPCs. It isn't good for restaurants. Again, if you think about it, what's a coffee? Like, who knows? There's no real standard definition, so that is harder. It's not good for bars. It's really good for high SKU retail, and particularly Bodega. Two caveats with that. One is we've not done integrations with the gas pumps. So if you want to do a gas station, they're going to have to keep their like Ruby Gilbarco system. But the convenience store, we could run it, but it would be separate. And the second is we've not really expanded it to large grocery store. It's really small grocery, mini mart type business. But that's currently the sweet spot for AI POS. And it's about $1 trillion with the spend.
And just so we can paint the picture in regards to the smaller grocery stores, and I think you had shared with me, like, if it's up to 3 lanes,
Yep.
pretty good. Is that correct?
Yeah. So 3 lanes or less, and also 5 stores or less. So if it's a big chain, 7-Eleven, they're not going to want this, or even the regional chains. So it's really for the little guy. The good news is little guys most. So 60% of all convenience stores are owned by 100,000 individuals. So most of these guys are these mom and pop retailers. But yeah, if it's a chain, not a good fit. If it's like 5 lanes, probably not a good fit. If they have, but yeah, everyone else, it's pretty good.
All right, so I do have more questions for you. So, one of the things that I do want to throw out to you, the sales agent, as always, whenever we do Toolbox Tuesday, we want to hear from you. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to talk to Jason for just a little bit more, and then we're going to break, and then we're going to watch your questions. And it's an opportunity for you to come off mute, ask your questions out loud, or if you would like, you can throw your questions into the chat. We'll make sure that we get those read, and we'll make sure that we get those in front of Jason. So, going back to who you were a good fit for, I mean, you were talking vape stores, liquor stores, some of those smaller mom and pop grocery stores, 3 lanes or less, anything else. Multi locations. You had brought this up. Now, as far as the visibility goes, and the reason why it's not so much, the
We
best
can do
fit for
some
like. Go
multi-location,
ahead,
but like,
please. Go
but
ahead.
not usually like if you have more than 5 stores, you're going to be wanting to transfer inventory between a warehouse and a
That's
store. And so it's really about complexity. And so our system right now is really optimized for, like I said, 5 or less stores. Again, you can still see the transactions for all 5 stores, great. But like, for example, the roll up, it doesn't roll up into a single master aggregator report. And so stuff like that will be coming in the days to come. But the little guy is been so screwed that we're really focused on the little guy right now, not necessarily like the bigger guys.
Um, so let's talk through some of the nuances. What makes okay? So for the most part, you and I were at the same trade show last week.
Yep.
Okay, I walked that floor. I'm sure you walked the floor. Many point of sale companies. Oh well, gosh, we have AI built into ours too. But what I want to do, Jason, I want to kick it over to you and just say, what is it that Bodega's doing right? Kind of making the assumption as far as they say they've got the AI capabilities, but do they really? So, what is it that's separating you from the competition, Jason, from that AI perspective?
Yeah. So the first thing is we created the easiest point of sale because all the databases, the UPCs are already preloaded. Most POS out there, I call our dumb POS because you have to load the data. Again, if you give us a database, we can upload it, but the AI will make it better. So the first thing is we've created the easiest POS. Second thing is we've created the first POS that actually makes stores more revenue. Like, again, this stuff is so fundamental, but oddly unique, because the AI, like, think about it. If I sent you, Scott, to Yemen to open up a convenience store, you're like, what? No, what are you going to sell, Scott? What's your pricing strategy, Scott? Huh? What's your merchandising strategy? Huh? Guys, that sounds like a crazy example. That's what's happening. 8,000 people from Yemen came to America, um, and opened up convenience stores just in New York City. Do you think they know that whether toothpaste is taxable? They have no idea. They are losing so much money. And so you have a chance to really help them with these fundamental questions. Like, ask them, why are you selling that? Oh, the supplier told me to. What? Why you price that? Oh, I just increased it 40%. And then I joke, if Starbucks did that, your coffee would be 10 cents. And then they kind of laugh. Uh, First POS that makes you more money. Third is we're the first multilingual POS. Like, what does that mean? Like, it's in any language. Like, it's right now, I think, in 15 languages. If you need it to be in a 16th, just tell us. We'll add the 16th. So no one's ever done that before. In addition, we've become this is a sad statement. We're the most ISO partner aligned POS. What does that mean? One of the dirty secrets that you guys probably know intuitively, but let me just make it explicit, is that every one of your POS partners is actually going direct. What does that mean? It means that they're your competitor. We don't do that. Why? Because, again, everyone wants the processing. And so what makes us unique as our business model is we are actually not a POS company. Huh? But Jason, you sell your name Bodega Ai POS. We're actually a data company. And this is pretty fundamental, which makes us unique. We only make money, guys, if you make money. Huh? Yeah, if you make tons of money on the processing, which is great for you, guess what? You're going to make tons of data as a byproduct. And so what we want to do, and we're going to come back to you a year from now with a data schedule A, which we can talk about. But effectively, we want to get paid not from you or your merchants. We want to get paid by Coca-Cola, Heineken, and Budweiser. And so that's our business, and that's why we need you to be successful, which makes this unique. So so those are a lot of the no one's ever done that. Oh, we're also the most affordable POS. We're like 50% cheaper than like Clover. So that's a big unlock. And then I think those are the unique ones, but we have a bunch of other AI tools that other people have, like AI reporting. You can do any report that you want. You can talk to the POS, no POS you've ever talked to before. So again, like if you were the beauty of our company is that we have 20 years of history. We did point of sale for those taxis, but we're not stuck with 20-year-old technology, which is what most POS has. When they're like, oh, I have a Linux system. Oh, I have servers. Oh, I have a Windows system. Basically, that's just a proxy for, oh, we have really old technology. And so as you know, technology is transformative, and so we use the latest Android, the latest AWS, the latest technology. So you get to keep all that, but also guess what, it's like half the price. And so that's what's such a big unlock here, which is why you guys are going to crush it. We can talk about how do you crush it, but this is, like I said, no one's ever done this before. And whether it's the AI or the business model, and you guys get to take advantage of this. You have a $1 trillion jump ball. So please, let's get you guys get some of that $1 trillion up for grabs.
Yeah, and Jason, I am going to get ahead of this, and I gave you fair warning. I said, man, oh man, our audience, they're going to asking you a whole bunch of questions, and I'm starting to see some of the questions popping up into the chat over here. So friends, when it comes to the cost of Bodega AI and getting it set up for your merchants, what I'm going to do is I'm going to direct you into two places. If you go into Navigo, click on Documents, pull up the most recent hardware pricing list. I think it's page 8. Everything. Bodega AI is all listed right there. All of the pricing right there at your fingertips. Speaking of being right at your fingertips, as John Marshall alluded to, if you have that Genie app on your phone, that's another resource where you can go in, you can tap on the hardware, you can tap on Bodega POS specifically, and it's going to give you all of that pricing right there. A little bit later on in this call, we're going to talk about some of the processes. What do I mean by processes? Submissions, deployment, support, things along those lines. We're going to cover that more towards the end of the call, but I wanted to get ahead of this because I know for a fact a lot of you are chomping at the bit going, but Scott, we got to know about the pricing. Absolutely. Two places to go: Navigo, Documents, Hardware Pricing Sheet, page 8, pull it up. Or if you want to pull it up on that Genie app, pull it up. Once again, Hardware, Bodega AI, all the pricing is listed right there. Jason, a couple of things that you mentioned that I've written down over here. You were talking about the easiest POS.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. One of the bigger benefits of utilizing your system is the fact that you've already got the entire database. So it's not
Yeah.
like it's not like a merchant has to kind of start from scratch. You're pretty much handing them the playbook going, look, these are the most commonly sold items within your specific space.
Yeah.
We can get you locked and loaded. Is that a correct statement, Jason?
Yeah, we'll give you the URL. If you go to upc.bodegai.com, like I was in a cigar store the other day and I was like, oh, what POS do you use? And he's like, no, it's just too much work. I have a terminal. So I just start scanning using that URL. You can start scanning their inventory. It was all in there. The guy's jaw hit the ground, was like, oh my God, I can now have a POS. And so this unlocks, like I ask, like, John, what's your beauty supply store POS? Huh? Now you have one. Or what's your Brandon, what's your meat market POS? It needs to be in Spanish. It has to be integrated with weights. It has to do EBT. Oh, yeah, now you have one. So all of these verticals, there's no good solution. And so that gives you an opportunity to just crush it.
And I think that's definitely one of the key differentiators, especially you had mentioned Clover as an example where, you've already got the data that you can bring over. And you were just
Right.
talking about the fact that you can scan it, the items are already listed there, versus going in cold where you're starting with a brand new POS system. And man, oh man, I got to do import, export, everything else. You're already getting these merchants locked and loaded, my friend.
Yeah, and a lot of Clover people have a database. It's usually crap. So what we do, like Coke, KOK, is it 12 ounce? Is it 18 ounce? Is it 3 liters? Who the hell knows? So what we'll do is we can take their existing price book, Scott, and then we clean up all the data. So even if they do have a bad database, we can clean it because the pricing is accurate. It's just everything else isn't.
Yeah. Um, this has come up several times just in the first 20 minutes that we've been talking here, Jason. Making businesses more revenue. Could you
Yeah.
cite some examples of regards to what it is that you're bringing to the table to help these businesses to make more money?
Yeah. Again, guys, it's kind of 101. You guys always been in the cost savings business. Oh, let me look at your rates. Let me save you off your rates. Okay. But profit is based on revenue and cost. So you're only really focused on one lever, which is only 50% right. So now all of a sudden you have a new lever, which is revenue. So we see four key levers for revenue. So the first one is pricing. Like I said to you, like, do you know what the price should be on the Upper West Side for a can of soda? And so the AI will analyze your store and benchmark it against peers and then determine which prices are underpriced or overpriced, to be frank. So that's one way to increase revenue. Second way is products. The number one question that all these merchants want to know is, what should I be selling? They have no idea. And by the way, that asking the supplier that has conflict of interest is all, they don't know either. But guess what? You know who knows? Is the AI. And so what we do is we identify what items that they should be selling that they aren't, and what the sales impact is based on average sales for other stores. And so that's a huge unlock. Another one, which was a great one, we tripled Coors Light sales in one store. The AI looked at the store and was like, dude, why aren't you selling more Coors Light? And the guy's like, I don't know. So he goes to the back and sees that Coors Light was like hidden behind some boxes. He moved that to the front, boom, kind of tripled Coors Light. Taxes, like, these guys don't know what's taxable and not taxable, so they get this huge tax bill, and or they overpay taxes. The AI kind of helps them collect that. So yeah, so this is all, guys, game changing stuff that you've never been able to do. That being said, most merchants have no clue. So when we started this with Taxi, my initial sales pitch was, this is the most affordable and easiest POS. And that's how we got like all the cabs at Newark Airport, for example. But then 6 months later, the airport was like, hey, let's do a cash line and a credit line. And the tax union went nuts and said, no, we're not going to do that. And the airport said, why? And they said, because we're not going to pick up the cash customers. So we literally flipped the paradigm from not taking credit cards to only wanting to take credit cards. And why? Was because they were making so much more money on credit cards. And so so that's going to happen here. Like, I don't think like, because you're kind of selling an iPhone to your grandmother who has a flip phone. So there's definitely going to be a little bit of a tech, whatever, tech learning thing. But once you flip to the iPhone, you never go back to the flip phone. And so that's your challenge, guys, is to be like, oh yeah, this is really easy, this is really affordable, and by the way, you're going to make a lot more money, but it's going to take a little bit for you to really understand that.
Jason, it's interesting that you cited that example where you're talking about, hey, you took your grandmother from a flip phone over to an iPhone, but once you get over to an iPhone, the learning curve is fairly good. You never want to go back again.
Yeah.
Going off of memory on some of the conversations that you and I've had, you were saying from a training perspective, it's quite possibly one of the easier POS systems to get employees trained on, and it's actually reducing the amount of time that a business owner would have to spend training that employee. Why is that? What is it that you're doing differently?
Yeah. So first of all, guys, think about it. If you have, like, a lot of these stores don't have a digital inventory, so because they're not scanning. So what do they have to do? They have to put literally a sticker on every item. And guess what? If they forget it, they have to memorize the item. And so the net result is they can only hire family members. Like, if you had all the prices memorized, that's not a scalable kind of solution. And so by having the be able to scan and sell, all of a sudden allows anyone to be hired and not have to worry about kind of family members, kind of memorizing prices. And so the other big advantage for easiness is you can put the POS in any language. So your cousin who just came here from Yemen who only speaks Arabic, guess what? You can have the Arabic on the cashier side. The English would still be on the other side. oh, well, what if you have questions and you don't know what to do? You can literally ask our AI chatbot in any language, how do I do this, or that? And so, so that those are allowed us to kind of decrease training like 75% versus alternative POS. And the maintenance too is also key because like every one of these stores gets 50 new SKUs a week. So what are they going to do? Type in 50 new things? It's a disaster. And so we make that a lot easier for them.
All right, so tell you what, Jason, we're going to actually open it up to our audience. We're going to start taking questions. So I'm going to start reviewing some of the questions over here in the chat because it looks like, man, oh man, we got a whole bunch that came in. But before I start reading off questions, you, sales agent, you joined the call today. You know you've got questions. Come off mute right now. Don't even have to raise your hand. Let's get your questions in front of Jason while I go through some of these questions on the side.
Hey, so Scott, I've got to jump off the call early, but let me ask.
Go ahead.
So Jason, you just a light bulb moment there, right? Marking
Yeah.
prices with the little price guns and the little
Yeah.
stickers.
It's crazy.
Think about the time, like by not doing that. But I'm also thinking about theft, where a customer might replace one sticker with their choice
Yeah.
of price,
Oh, that's a good idea.
or even more so with the changing commodity prices, you change the price in the POS. I don't have to re-sticker all the
Right.
stuff on my shelves, right?
Right.
So to me, those three things are really big, and they're labor savers, and labor's got to be one of the number one costs.
Yeah. Totally. Great point, John.
Yeah, and this actually kind of ties into our very first question that we got over here in the chat. This comes from Matthew. So, Jason, when you say $1 trillion unlocked, where exactly is that money sitting today? Is it in the labor savings? Is it reduced shrinkage, higher conversion?
No, those are the verticals. So yeah, I think Scott, you will send out the deck. But if you look at the deck, you have these, like, for example, convenience stores is about $250 million. Meat markets are $25 billion, liquor is $85 billion. So all of those verticals that we've identified don't have a good solution. And so when I say unlock, that means there's a jump ball. That $1 trillion worth of spend is going to be replaced. Kind of like EMV. You knew that every terminal was going to be replaced. So within those 20 verticals that we identified, every one of those guys are going to need a new system. And so the question is, are you going to get those? And by the way, there's also a big play here with your existing customers. I had one guy show up to me at NEA and was like, oh, my cash register express guys, we're losing them every day to you. I'm like, I know, it's 20-year-old technology. He's like, well, there's nothing better out there. I'm like, now there is. So he's going to basically convert his book. So you guys you're at an interesting inflection point. One is the jump ball on the trillion, but also your portfolios, where if you don't secure them, someone else will. So I encourage you to, lock in, because it's, what is it, 7 times easier to keep an existing customer than to find a new one. So please don't lose your customers.
All right, I actually see we have a hand up. It says Mary's work iPhone. Could that be Mary Hogue? Mary, is that you? Come on.
That's me. I have my whole team in here listening to you guys because
Excellent.
This is how important this meeting was for us. I'm super excited, first of all. So I have a 3-site location liquor store that has a blended version of caps, old caps. They won't upgrade them. So we have external credit card machine. We put in Clover, hates it. The main thing is he wants the item, like if you have, it's like a 12-pack of Cokes. And he wants to open up the 12-pack of Cokes and put that one Coke, separate it, itemize it, and it automatically be put in inventory as remove that 12-pack. Now we have 12, individual Cokes. And I believe Corona was doing this for him, but Clover doesn't do it. And
yeah,
anybody that does that. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. So there's kind of 2 answers to that question. So one is like when you scan a 6-pack, it has the same barcode as you scan an individual. And so our system, you can program what's called quantity pricing. So when you scan the 12-ounce Budweiser, you can program it so that it says, oh, you want a 6-pack? It's $8, or you want a single can? It's $2, whatever. So we can do that. In terms of some of the inventory with cases, there's a little bit more complicated math there, but we could I just want to, we should probably set up a sidebar chat and just understand exactly what you want to do it, but so that we can make sure that we meet those needs too. But we definitely do the first version.
And then I got a two-part question on that also. So if they're not using the rebate, what is it? Those
Scan data.
Yeah, scan data. Yeah, if they're not using that, one, are you able to use scan data?
Yeah, we have an app store, so that would be extra to, kind of like Clover. We have an app store. I think it's like $50 a month. And then what will happen is when you scan a pack of cigarettes, the customer will get a discount, and then the merchant will get a rebate.
Right. Okay. And then if they're not using it, the discounts that go, it's 3-site location, and they update their discounts. Does it move from location to location without them having to do it at each location?
It depends on how you set it up. So you can set it up as 3 different locations, like 3 different stores. In that case, no. Or you can set up as one store with a bunch of different POS. So these kind of like cases, guys, we'll give you a link to set up demos, and we can kind of walk through some of the technical stuff. I think one of the challenges historically is POS is complicated, more complicated than slinging a terminal, but the longevity is dramatically more. So we want to hold your hand to be successful in setting these up. And by the way, we might not have everything for them, but the good news is every 3 weeks we do a new sprint. And so depending on how easy or in demand it is, we can add new functionality. And so, but yeah, I'd love to Mary to kind of spec out, have a meeting with that store, kind of understand what their needs are and tell them kind of what we have today, what we can kind of tweak moving forward, and make sure it meets its needs. And maybe just start off with one store, make sure they're happy, and then turn on the other 3 based on, what other functionality they might need.
Perfect. Thanks, Jason.
Excellent. Thank you, Mary. All right, I got a few more questions. I've got a lot of questions in the chat actually, so buckle up, Jason, because we'll get a lot here, my friend. All right.
Great.
So when you say the POS makes you money, what's the first concrete dollar a merchant earns because of it?
Well, I said price. They don't know how to price, so they're basically underpricing tons of items, so we can change the price. The biggest one is the product mix. Is that the AI will identify what products are? Because think about it. Scott, I'm going to send you a DM and open up a convenience store. What do you sell? Jason, what are you talking about? No, you have to pick 3,000 items. What? That's these guys. These guys come to America. Do you think they know what to sell? They have no idea. And so look at these liquor stores. They have 10,000 bottles. Probably 75% of them they shouldn't even have. And so by freeing that cash flow, as well as knowing what they should sell, kind of marketing that, increases revenue.
And by the way, friends, that's why I was gone throughout the whole month of January. I tried to open a convenience store in Yemen. It didn't work out, so I came back to Coach.
Exactly.
Carol Steen, I see your hand is up. Carol, come off mute. Good to see you, my friend.
Hey, buddy. I hope you had a great vacation. So,
I did.
Good. Jason, my question is, I've got several Asian markets.
And we love Asian markets.
I was actually referred to one, and I walked in there and I turned around and walked out. So
I know, it's overwhelming.
It's overwhelming. So that's your amount of SKUs. That might be your language thing. Now,
and by the way, our UPCs are insane in that we just signed up a Vietnamese grocery because our Vietnamese UPC database rocks.
Oh, gosh.
Which is
so do we
insane.
even know what those products are? We don't have to know anything. We just walk in there and.
Yeah, use the I don't know, Scott. We'll distribute it, but there's a website upc.bodegai.com, and it opens up the camera on your phone. So this is a great part. This is how I got that cigar store. Just start scanning items and be like, "Is this this? Is this this?" And they'll be like, "Whoa." Like, you have it already in there. I'm like, yeah, we already have it in there. And what's cool is all the stores are networked. So if you add a product that is brand new, the AI will clean it up and then propagate it to the network so that the next store doesn't have to do it. So the database is not only the best there ever is, but every day it gets better. So that's why we need your help to make the data better. Because more stores equals more.
Cool.
More better.
Let's say that this Asian store has, all these thousands of products, and maybe for the last 5 years they've had the same prices, and then maybe they've never even heard or don't know how to do cash discounting. How do we do that?
Yeah, like I said, I've been doing cash discount for 20 years. So two things. One is if they don't have a database, that's fine. Like 99-cent stores, we do those all the time as well. What they would do is they would just scan the item, and the first time they scan it, it would say, "Oh, is this Vietnamese potato chips, 16 ounce, whatever?" And then you'd say yes, and then they would just kind of type in the price so that basically organically they can build out the the database, and then so that allows them to do that. And then in terms of cash discount, I would argue we're the only compliant POS in California and New York for cash discount, because what you're supposed to do with dual pricing is show the cash card price for all the items. Great. Oh, I have 3,000 items. How do I do that? So Pay Compass with our technology will give you guys free price checkers. What? Free price checkers? Those seem expensive. It's a QR code price checker, which you can put in the store to be compliant, that shows the cash card price of every item with one QR code. And so that keeps you compliant with Visa. Again, they have to not screw it up as well, but that allows you to meet the state rules for cash discount.
Thank you.
I have a customer that David and I just went through, and he wants to present the 75-cent cash credit card price on there alongside. Does that happen automatically up front, or only when it gets to the total amount when their customer's ready to check out?
Again, I don't know if you can. Again, we don't currently support flat rate, whatever credit card fee, but we know we have a bunch of people that are using that, and they're using it just as a non-integrated terminal. So if you can program the terminal to add 75 cents to any total, you could do that. But currently, Bodega doesn't do that.
Thank you.
Directly.
Thank you, Gary. All right, let's go through a couple more questions. Let's go through a list of questions. Good Lord, you guys are on top of your game today. You're like, hey, Scott, welcome back. Here's all the questions. Boom. All right, Jason. Does the system automatically update individual state liquor prices when they change?
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, we've had that request. We've not. If you give us the file, we can upload and change it. But ideally, it would just kind of automatically happen. So, yeah, we're not doing stuff that's not kind of demand driven. And so basically you guys would work, with Pay Compass on kind of the hot issues, or you can email us at hello@bodegai.com. And, things like that. If that's going to move the needle with sales in, Pennsylvania or whatever, we'd be open to do that. But right now you'd have to take that price list and then upload it to do a bulk price update. It's not automatic.
All right. As an example, what about gaming stores? Gaming stores have lots of SKUs. Would that be a good fit?
We do a lot of lottery. I don't know if that's what you mean by gaming, but yeah, we do a ton of lottery, like scratchers. So yeah, they have lots of different products, and you kind of scratch them and do it. So I don't know if that's what you mean by gaming, but lottery is a form of gaming.
All right, this is an interesting question. So what is the minimum transaction volume needed for the AI to become meaningful and accurate?
Yeah, it's a good question. It goes back on the SKUs. So when you get the device, there's no kind of SKUs in there unless you give it to us. So we need a baseline. So either you build it out, through a week or 2 weeks when you scan everything in, or you give us the file. But again, it could be any number of SKUs. It's just the more SKUs, the more data, the better, kind of analysis.
And how does inventory management apply to, let's say, a 3 or 4 location business, backside of the inventory where it's at, and
You already answered that. Sorry.
He did answer that one. Okay, all right. Keep me honest, Mary. Thank you. Perfect. Would this be a good fit for smoke shops that sell tobacco and/or hookahs, cannabis stores? Where are you at with that, Jason?
Hookahs, vape, tobacco, yes. Cannabis. We have some cannabis stores, but they typically have weird state laws that you have to show kind of seed to whatever sale. And so we don't have that kind of in there, but definitely tobacco with our scan data and our automatic license checking and all that stuff. We do a ton of vape shop, smoke shop, tobacco shop.
Meat markets. Will this integrate with their CAS weight scales for label printing?
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, meat markets, they're $250,000 a month. great for cash discount, but there's not a good solution out there. So you guys should crush it with meat markets. There's like 5,000 in the US that I know of, and they all have crappy solutions. So yes, we work with cast labels. If there's some people use like weird variants, so you'd have to take a picture and we'd have to kind of add the weird barcode variant. But we've done the top 20 variants of the different barcodes, and those work out of the gate.
All right, before I do any more questions in the chat, Craig Bosley, I see your hand is up, my man. Come off mute. Let's hear from you, Craig.
I had a couple little questions. One is, so I have a couple feed stores, and whenever those, and I know it's going to be out of the world of convenient, but so they have pricing that will come in. First off, they'll have something that comes in, and it's less than a penny. Is that anything you guys can do as far as
that's
the cost
interesting.
goes?
Give me an example. What does that mean? So
they might have a bag of feed that comes in, and it's $9 and 21.2155. It might have
5 per pound.
Yeah, because they're going by pounds. They're going by pounds, and they might sell it, and so they want to figure that cost.
Yeah, that would be easy to add. So yeah, again, This is like an example where you should set up a meeting with us. We do a demo. You give us some example stuff, and that would be an easy thing to tweak. But again, like we love those things. Like we do a ton of scale stuff, and there's no really good POS for scales, and so we want to crush it with feed stores. So yeah, so let's. But I don't know what that means. So we got to define, like you said, what that means.
So kind of an add-on. So because those prices change so much,
yeah,
they'll have. For one week, it'll be $9 a pound, and then they'll buy something in at $10 a pound. Can you average? Are you able to average those out to where that changes the cost on those, or do they have to go by lots still? Does that make sense? Like their cost might be $9 this week, and they buy in the next week, and it's $10.
Yeah, so they would have to update pricing. So that's the It's not that hard to update the pricing in our system, but a lot of the scales come pre-priced, and so that might be more complicated. But our side, you can just kind of press it. It's it's like an Excel sheet. You just kind of update a few numbers, and you're good.
Okay, yeah, like he wants 30% margin. Say he wants 30% margin on this. Well, half the stuff came in as $9, and the other half is $10, and so he'd like to average that out. So
yeah, he would have to just do the math and then kind of put it in the system.
Fair enough.
Excellent. Thank you, Craig. Going back to the chat, does the MCC code determine the SKU availability?
No, I'm telling you guys, this is the most ridiculous database. It's all in the cloud. Just let me explain. So we have offline mode. So you can run even if you can't do credit card when there's no internet, but you can run the scanning and everything. So what happens is when you scan an item, we first look locally and be like, oh, is this Cherry Coke 18 ounce, whatever, in our system? Yes. Okay, great. It's boom, boom, boom. If it's not, then we hit the cloud and say, do you have the SKU data for this UPC? And then it zaps it down. So basically, you get the advantage of the world's best database, but it's not like you see other people who load up. So I felt bad for one guy got a Clover and he's like, oh, there's no database. So he got the Walmart Excel file, loaded up like 200,000 SKUs into this poor Clover, and it was a disaster. So no, we don't do that, but it is cloud-based. So you do it. And then basically your local database would keep on get better based on kind of what you add.
What would your AI struggle with most in a community? And I want to make sure, Matt Hart, you might be coming off mute on this one, friend, because I want to make sure that we're getting this correct. What would your AI struggle with most in a community-first board game store that has live events, fluctuating card cost market? Not quite sure if this would be a good, yeah.
Yeah,
ahead,
that might be. Yeah, no, we could. A lot of these events things wants like scheduling and appointments. We don't do that. Dynamic pricing. Again, our sweet spot is UPC code. So again, anyone can create a barcode. So for the actual games itself, that's great. But if you're like a clothing store and you have you just make up random barcodes, that's a harder fit. But Yes, I don't know a gaming like a community gaming where Pokemon cards, where the prices fluctuate every day. Like we don't have feeds to the eBay to determine what the Pokemon Go card costs at 3 p.m. So I don't know if that is good fit.
Hey,
All
Jason,
right.
what about, the system? Does it take gift cards and loyalty? How does that work?
Yeah, so we have a partnership with Factor 4. So again, it's extra money and
Perfect.
cost and
But
stuff.
it
And
still works.
yeah, we're right
Agreement
now it's
for.
semi-integrated, but you can use them and we can again our goal, guys, is to do stuff that no one's ever done before. Like we're your feed store POS. Like that's the stuff that gets us excited. But if you're like, oh, I want a gift card, like, oh great, let's use someone else. They've thought about it a lot more, and let them kind of focus on that. So that's our philosophy. So if there's third party tools that you're like, oh, I really like the ABC gift card, we can talk about what it would take to integrate with them. But yeah, our goal is to be world class in things that no one's done before and leverage other people who are world class in other kind of areas.
All right, and Jason, what I'm doing is I'm keeping an eye on the time here, so we're probably going to wind up doing a little bit of a rapid fire session
All right, all
here.
right, let's do it.
All right, and what I'm going to do right now is
Yes,
I'm going
no,
to,
yes. Okay, let's go.
ladies and gentlemen, he's a
There
genius.
we
Look at
go.
him go.
Yeah.
Um, I'm going to ask my colleague Jeannie Reese to be on tap here towards the last 5 minutes of the call because Jeannie, you and I are going to kind of talk through deployment, submissions, and everything else. So
Yeah.
Jeannie, if you could be on tap here towards the end of the call, look forward to having you come off mute. So let's go rapid fire. Does the
Woo!
product? Whoa, I know, right? Boom, shakalaka. There we go. All right, Jason. So, welcome to Tuesday, everybody. Scotty's back. Anyway, so does the product pricing automatically increase if the price is increasing nationwide?
No. Again, the robots are not in charge yet, guys. So, but it's
Yet.
coming.
Does your system work with digital price tags?
Not yet, but it would be great if you have a good supplier. Tell us because we're looking for one.
Okay. Liquor store, one location. Order. The owner wants to order on a purchase order to his supplier. Is this something that we can do through Bodega AI?
We will not turn on purchase orders, but that will be coming. My guess is in maybe Q3.
Okay. This one we're going to see if we can just kind of work through this question. We have one of our sales agents that signed up a gas station yesterday. The said gas station has house accounts. Is there a
Mm.
way to do a workaround with QR codes as far as working with the system goes?
Yeah, it's a great question. We accept other forms of payment, so you can kind of track house accounts. There's also potentially a way to use gift cards for that. We're John and I talked about this a bit. So we're trying to figure out a better solution for house accounts, but it's one of those things that someone's already solved the problem. So we're trying to find a good person who solved the problem. So if you know someone who's already has a great house account management system, we'd love to chat with them.
One of our agents says we have a liquor store that sells Delta 8 products. Can we
Yeah.
do Delta 8 products?
Yeah. Whatever you want.
Okay. Does the system support
Which, by the way,
lot?
Clover doesn't. Clover will shut you down if you sell Delta 8, just as an aside.
All right. Does the system support lot costing, LOT, lot costing?
I'm not sure exactly what that means, but we do costing as part of inventory. When you buy stuff, you can say, oh yeah, I received 100 widgets and it costs $10 a unit. So you can kind of see how your cost changes.
All right. Somebody threw out an example. Would you be able to work with a woman's clothing store?
It might be hard. I don't know if they have real barcodes.
Okay.
Can I elaborate on that lot? We have a
Yes,
vet
please.
on clinic, so he gets a lot, of the actual inventory,
Got
and
it.
so if he gets a recall, he has to be able to identify what
Oh,
lot it was. So that's what we're asking if you do anything regarding that.
again, we can. So like these are things, guys. We just need explicit specs, but that seems like, oh, when we add inventory, we want to track a whatever order ID or lot number. That would be an easy thing to add. So yeah. So if that's the deal breaker, stuff like that, we would easily be able to add.
Another example to see if you would be a good fit. A local seafood store, freshly caught, freshly everything.
Yeah, it's a meat market. Seafood is a meat.
Okay. Automatic reordering on inventory. That's a great question.
Yeah, we don't have that yet. AI inventory would be awesome. The challenge, although I have a big meeting, guys, with Coca-Cola. This is pretty crazy. On Friday, I'm meeting with the head of B2B for Coca-Cola about some of this stuff. So that's more going to be phase two, where we integrate with the big distributors. But that's the goal. The goal is to give these guys rebates, coupons, automatic ordering, et cetera, et cetera. But that's more phase two.
Automatic reordering, is it available in the system?
No, not right now.
Okay.
But we have
anything
inventory alerts that says, okay, you should order this stuff. You're below your par levels. So we have that. It's just the alerts are automated, but the actual ordering is not ordered. Again, the humans are still in charge.
for now. Anyways,
For now.
for
Yeah.
now, I think we kind of know the answer to this one. Could you be a good fit for a multi-location, higher-end liquor store?
Yes. Again, depends on what their needs are, but we do a ton of
Depends
it.
on what their needs are. Yep. Great question here. Do you tie into any online sales at all, Jason?
Semi-integrated. So basically you can take, once you digitize your price book, you can port it to DoorDash, Uber Eats, your website, whatever. So it's not, most POS charge lots of money for that. We don't charge any money for that, but it is manual. So you'd have to, if your price changed, you'd have to resend your price book to Uber Eats or whomever.
Got it. Albert Perales, I see your hand is up, my man. Come up here.
Hey, sorry. So I was on the phone just now. Guess what? We're the biggest competition, NRS. Okay,
Oh,
so
yeah.
all right. So how you compete with NRS as far as I know their customer service sucks, brother. Like I
Yeah.
need someone who can help my
Yep.
merchants on the phone 24/7.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, Pay Compass is your customer service. So
Okay.
we provide, they're your frontline support for deployment, which we'll talk about in a second. So, but yeah, and then we provide support to Pay Compass. But yeah, in terms of NRS has been around for 10 years. So it's, 10-year-old technology. It doesn't have the AI. It doesn't have the languages. They compete with you. I think that's the biggest issue that we've seen with NRS agents is that you're like, oh, this is a really good deal. I'm like, yeah, no shit, because you're getting them customers and they're stealing them from you. So so a lot of we swap out NRSs like every day. So if they have NRS, that's actually great because that means that they have an old system. Again, they have some functionality that we don't have yet, but the biggest thing from your perspective is NRS is your competitor. And so if you want to invite the fox into the caged kitchens, like you should do that, but be
Now,
warned.
the other question is, do you have like online portal or like a mobile app?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have Android app, iPhone app, and web portal for the merchants,
Gotcha.
which they can kind of see reporting, add buttons, change users. Yeah. So if you think about it, it's the POS, which is what's in the store, and then there's the Android, iPhone app, web portal.
Awesome. All right. Thank you.
Madison, I see your hand is up. Come off mute, my friend.
Question is, do you have automated, like you create a purchase order or create an inventory, send it to your supplier, your distributor, they put everything on a pallet. When it comes to the liquor store, can they just basically check the inventory,
Okay.
scan one barcode, and all the inventory goes into
The system.
the whole delivery goes into the inventory.
But yeah, so in order to do that, you need to be integrated with the different suppliers. They have to give you the barcode. That's the holy grail. That's where we need to get to. In order for these suppliers to want to do barcode, blah, 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 I think the right answer is actually not barcode. It's AI, where you take a picture of the invoice and then the AI ingests it. Because these distributors, you think your merchants are low tech, the distributors are equally low tech. So waiting for them to evolve is going to be hard. But yeah, the whole supply chain stuff is in the works. That's more phase two though. So we don't have that right now. The distributors don't have it either. But yeah, we're working with the Coca-Colas of the world to automate that.
Okay. And What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to pause. Jeannie, could you come off mute? Because I think this is a great question just to kind of tie into this little conversation that you and I are going to have here, setting expectations with all of our sales agents. So there was actually a question that popped up in the chat. What if a merchant has a technical question about Bodega? Who do they contact? Jeannie, let's get in front of this right now and let's start talking about some of the processes that we have in place with Bodega. Jeannie, would you mind taking the microphone and just kind of getting our audience up to speed, my friend?
Absolutely. So the short answer is you call Pay Compass. So our support team will be handling all of the support on the Bodega machines. So just like when you have any other issues, you would call our team first. And then if there's anything that we cannot solve on our own, then we will escalate and bring Bodega into it as well. So this is a unique product, and the fact that it is not a referral like some of the other ones that we have. This is something that Pay Compass is owning in-house, distributing all of those fun pieces.
So, Janie, just to kind of tie into that, just to paint the picture for our agents, it's kind of similar to when they sell a Clover deal, where we're just kind of handling all of that in house. This is a similar situation with Bodega, correct?
Correct.
All right,
And
Janie,
that's the big advantage
go ahead.
versus NRS, is that you have that Pay Compass person to kind of help you guys, because you don't want to be left stranded. And so, that it's key to kind of leverage them, because that's the only way that we're going to scale, is working with partners like yourselves.
And Jeannie, just to reiterate, gosh, where can all of our sales agents find that information on Bodega AI? Where does it live, Jeannie?
It's funny that you should mention that. It lives in multiple places. You can go to the Genie app, or you can go to Navigo, or you can pick up the phone and call any one of us, and we can help you out as well.
Yeah, excellent. Domo arigato, Jeannie. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Jason, when you and I hung out in Boston last week, man, and I'm going to publicly admit that I was wrong, and this is being recorded. Jason, you know what you said to me last week? You said, Scott, you know what? For the amount of content that we need to cover, we're going to need to do 2 sessions. And I said, Jason,
Yeah.
don't worry about it. I'm a seasoned pro. You're a seasoned pro. Jason, we're going to cover everything in 1 session. But you know what? We're coming up on the top of the hour, and I'm looking at you on camera, and I'm going, Jason, what are the possibilities that I can bring you back to cover everything else that you and I talked about,
Yeah.
specifically the positioning of it, the
Yeah.
conversations that our agents can have with some of
Yeah.
these business owners. What do you think, Jason? We got to bring you back in, brother.
We gotta do it, guys. This you've been waiting for this moment for. You've never had a solution that works so well with a vertical, and so what drives me nuts, what I said to Scott and Jeannie, was I asked folks like you, who is your customer? Oh, it's anyone who swipes a credit card or wants credit card processing. Guys, if everyone's your customer, no one's your customer. Now, for the first time ever, we can literally give you the list of who your customers are. How do you win over a liquor store? How do you want to do this in scale? So if you want to grow, I had the same conversation with an agent 7 years ago about cash discount, and one did 18,000 merchants, one did 2,500 merchants. So that could be you if you want it. If you don't, and just want to do your normal thing, great. But if I would love to work with you, Scott, on teaching you how to sell vertically, because guys, this is a jump ball. If you want to, and I'll teach you how to play the new game here. You can crush it. You can totally crush it. So yeah, let's talk about how to crush it maybe in the next chat.
We are going to bring you back in sooner rather than later. But matter of fact, I think this is the perfect note to end on with this question that I see in the chat. This will set the stage for the next conversation that we're going to have with you, Jason. So here's the question. What is the best question to ask a prospect to get them interested in Bodega AI? See what we're doing here? We're utilizing this as our next conversation. But what would be a great question to ask a business owner to get them interested?
Yeah. So you got to know what their current solution is. So if it's just a manual cash register, some of the stuff with John, like, do you really like putting price tags on everything? Do you really like having only be able to hire family members? Like, that sounds like a lot of extra work. Hey, you know what? Here's a great solution that you can afford. Because again, like a lot of these guys that even have like a Clover, don't have a good solution because they don't want to manage data. So they're using the Clover like a calculator. And so that's kind of one angle. If they're a little bit more technical, I would say, hey, I see you're not using an AI POS. Can we upgrade your dinosaur? It's time to get rid of that. And so like they're not even gonna know what that means, but you can then kind of go into the database, into the cash discount compliance. Again, they don't want to lose their EBT license. So again, there's a lot of things in some of the training materials that I gave Scott, which hopefully he'll share with you. There's a bunch of elevator pitches as well as handling objection handling. So I would look at that, and again, for the first few demos, my sales team hates me for saying this. We're happy to do demos with you, just because we want the training wheels on for the first few. But I can guarantee you, after the first one or two, we'll be able to rip the training wheels off, and then you guys, again, our goal is for you not to have to bother us, and you can use our chat bot, chat.bodegai.com, with any questions as well. So, but yeah. Let's help you guys figure out how to sell to specific verticals. You guys have never done that before because the toast of the world don't want you. We actually giving you that world-class technology and don't want to compete with you, which has never been done before. And so this is why it's such an exciting opportunity, but this is also why you got to learn some new skills to crush it within a vertical.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, this session should have been called an introduction to Bodega AI, because Jason, you nailed. You even told me last week in Boston, you're like, dude, I've got so much good stuff that I need to share, and I was like, come on, we'll do it. But you know what? We are going to bring you back in again,
Great.
ladies and gentlemen. To Jason's point that he just made, when it comes to your questions with the technology, the deployment, the pricing, anything else, your first stop is our Pay Compass team over in Tempe, Arizona. Pick up the phone, send them an email. You can send an email to sales@paycompass.com. We mentioned it at the very beginning of this call. This has been ongoing for about a year in regards to the conversations that we've been having with them. Matter of fact, I'm going to take it a step further. Just last night, my very last phone call was with Jeannie and Jathan and the entire team in Tempe. We are ready to support you when it comes to Bodega AI. As always, friends, it's great to see you on Toolbox Tuesday. But before we wrap up, I do want to say to you, Jason Diaz from Bodega, Domo Arigato. Thank you, my friend, for making the time to join us here today. We are super pumped about this relationship with you.
Awesome. So we're excited as well. My partner Dave is here, by the way. So yeah, you'll see his name as well.
Oh, look at that, Dave. We're going to bring you back for part 2. Look at that. There we go. So, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if you've got nothing going on next week on Tuesday, February 17th, make sure you join us for Coffee with Closers at 1 p.m. Eastern. And we're going to wrap up the month of February with yet another Toolbox Tuesday with the power of partnerships with our special guest, Jeremiah Remsky. And we're going to bring in Jeannie Chapel, Golden Chapel. She just got married, so she has a brand new name. I'm still learning it, but that's okay. Anyways, as always, friends, it's great to see you again. It's great to be back in the Pay Compass studio again. I have missed you guys terribly. I look forward to seeing you next week on Coffee with Closers. Once again, Bodega AI, Jason, Dave, thank you for your time. Looking forward to bringing you guys back in real soon.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Make it a great day.